Meghan Markle's friend, Melissa McCarthy, has defended the Duchess following a rush of backlash over her American Riviera Orchard jam brand. Melissa was quick to praise Meghan, calling her inspiring and slating those who have criticised her.
A smart, interesting woman that has her own life, for some reason, is incredibly threatening to some people. And I always think, how inspiring. I've never once been threatened by someone who's amazing. I just think, how inspiring. So it's really on the people throwing the hate. It's Meghan's wonderful. Strong women are awesome.
The Duchess of Sussex has given away 50 limited edition jars of the strawberry jam to various influencers in a PR stunt to launch her new lifestyle brand. Joining me now is royal biographer Angela Levin. Good afternoon, Angela.
Hello.
Hi. So you heard Melissa McCarthy there saying that Meghan is incredibly threatening to some people. I have to agree with her. Yeah. Some people just seem to have a bad word to say about Meghan continuously, even when she's doing something as innocent as releasing some jam. How's that offending people?
Well, I think there's two sorts of women who are very strong, and some of them are delightful and absolutely amazing, and some of them are really spiteful and not so much, and there's a whole range of people in between. So I think it's a bit of a nonsense thing to say. Not all women are scared of women who are powerful, not at all. I think the problem with Meghan is that she doesn't wait till things sort of materialize. Everything's got to be done immediately. And if not, she drops the people and moves on and does something else. We've seen that with one of her husbands. We've seen that with all sorts of things with the royal family. And I think that people find that rather unpleasant. But Melissa McCarthy, I mean, I think she's slightly frightened of Meghan, even though she's pretending that she's not. Because when Meghan had her 40th birthday, she invited her along. They were chatting very nicely, having cups of tea. And there was poor Harry outside the window, not allowed in, playing with balls. And it looked very much a sort of Charles Dickens associated thing, where you'd look through the window and you want a sort of piece of cake. And Meghan thought it was hilarious and she began laughing, and then Melissa started laughing. Nothing wrong with that, but you just felt that it was a really rather strange thing to find funny. But everybody has their own view of who they like, and Meghan does have a way of making some people think she's enormously wonderful and other people not liking her at all. And I think there are reasons at both ends of that.
But you look at, but wait, Angela. Talking about Harry being outside, you have no idea like what Harry's doing outside. That may be how the relationship is. Could be completely innocent. Just because she's having a birthday party doesn't mean Harry has to be in there holding her hand like some child, does it?
It wasn't a birthday party, it was her birthday, and she had her friend Melissa there. He looked very lost. I mean, I spent 15 months...
That's your interpretation. No, that's your interpretation. No. He looked lost.
Yeah,
that's your interpretation, which means nothing.
Hang on.
Hang on. Let's go back to something else you said there. You said that Meghan likes to do everything straight away. She can't wait for things. She's done a soft launch of her website, American Riviera Orchard. She sent out 50 jars to her friends and influencers, something that lots of celebrities do when they're launching things. So she is taking this one slow, and eventually she'll launch the website, and it's probably going to be a success. So what do you say to that when you're saying she has to have everything immediately?
Well, you've got to listen to what I said before. I spent 15 months with Prince Harry writing his biography. So I think I know him very well, and I think I can tell what mood he's in. So I don't think you can say to me, oh, it was just I was wrong about that, because I think I was right. And when I see Meghan pulling him along and he's always behind her, I feel exactly the same.
When do you see that? When do you see that? Are we looking at, OK, here's some video footage here. Is Meghan pulling him along there? He's grabbing her wrist, pulling her along.
How
you interpret things is how you interpret things.
They're being ridiculous.
How many you interpret things in a very, very strange way.
Meghan and Harry walking. Well, that's my way.
Oh, well, there's another video of Harry walking in front of her, pulling her along. It's not Meghan doing it, is it?
Well, you've picked those two. You might have picked those two, but I've found them when she's pulling him. So you can't tell me out of two pictures that I've got something wrong.
Well, it sounds like you've got a vendetta against Meghan Markle. That's what it sounds like. You sound like, Angela, with respect, you sound like a troll. You sound like a social media troll. Everything you can point out that's incorrect.
Very rude. You don't call someone a dog with respect. That's without respect.
No, it is with respect.
Let me talk about something else. Abigail Spencer, who is also a friend of Meghan's, she has given the 6th jar of jam, right? And we would see her lying on the grass, hugging it with the dog close by. It was a very sort of set up thing. That's one when she's sitting up. You're sitting down. And I thought, how ridiculous. This is a jar of jam. Why are we all getting hysterical about a jar of jam?
Who's hysterical about it? It's PR. She's trying to sell something. This is called advertising.
I know what PR is.
Well, with respect, clearly you don't. You're saying it's so set up. It's a PR stunt.
You're here to fight me, so why don't you say goodbye?
I'm not here to fight you. I'm just laying out the truth to you.
You're very rude.
No, Angela, you don't want to be challenged. You won't be challenged and you won't be scrutinised. I'd like to know. Oh, and she's gone. You see, this is what happens when you challenge people. When you go to them and you say to them, "Here's some facts. Here's some truths." Some people don't like it, and if people can't answer the truths, what do? They hang up, or they just start shouting, or they just start denying. Angela Levin believes that Harry's being pulled along by Meghan everywhere he goes. And yet we just showed her 3 different videos of Harry and Meghan walking out of buildings. And who's in the front? Harry. Who's leading? Who's pulling? Harry's pulling Meghan. But that doesn't play into the narrative of Angela Levin. It just doesn't. Now, you can say what you want about Meghan Markle. I don't know her. But has she been successful? Yes. Has Harry been successful with her? Yes. Will this jam, which is going to cost $200, is that going to be successful? Probably. I ain't going to buy it, but it probably is going to be successful. Well, thank you, Angela Levin, for joining me.
She thought she could say whatever she wanted about Meghan on live television and walk away clean. She was wrong. What you're about to watch is a nearly 4-minute unravelling a so-called royal biographer, invited on air to comment on a jam jar, ending up so thoroughly cornered by video evidence that she had one move left. Hang up the call. Not correct herself. Not concede a single point. Hang up. Squaddies, grab a seat, because this one has receipts, and I mean actual footage, not vibes, not sources say, actual video that a host pulled up in real time and used to dismantle a narrative that's been running since 2018. Let's get into it. Here's where it starts. Meghan's American Riviera Orchard brand did what basically every lifestyle and beauty label on the planet does before a public launch. It sent a small batch of product 50 jars of jam, to be exact, to a curated circle of friends and tastemakers. This is Marketing 101. It's called seeding. Glossier does it. Rhode does it. Every skincare startup with a TikTok strategy does it. Nobody blinks. Except when Meghan does it, apparently it's a national news event. Her friend, actress Melissa McCarthy, saw the pile on starting and did what a good friend does. She pushed back publicly. Her point was straightforward. Meghan is a sharp, accomplished woman building something on her own terms, and that apparently rattles a certain type of person. McCarthy put it bluntly, she's never seen anyone genuinely threatened by someone who's simply good at what they do. The hostility, she said, tells you more about the critics than about Meghan. That's not a wild take. That's someone standing up for a friend. But on British television, defending Meghan is treated like a controversial act that requires immediate rebuttal. So the panel didn't sit with McCarthy's point. They brought out the institution's go-to-closer. Let's talk about Angela Levin for a second, because her title gets thrown around like it's a badge of neutrality. She spent about 15 months around Prince Harry years ago writing his biography, and ever since, that credential has been her entire post-royal rota career. Every time a producer needs someone to say something unflattering about Meghan, Levin's number gets dialed. And true to form, within the first 30 seconds of this segment, she does exactly what she always does. She hears McCarthy defending Meghan from harassment, and instead of engaging with that, she reframes the harassment as Meghan's own fault. She builds this odd little hierarchy. Some strong women, she says, are delightful. Others are spiteful. And Meghan, in her framing, falls into the second category because she wants things done immediately and moves on if they don't happen fast enough. Notice what just happened there. The accusation isn't that Meghan did anything wrong with a jam brand. The accusation is that she has ambition and follows through on it. That's the crime. Then Levin goes somewhere genuinely wild. She dredges up a moment from Meghan's 40th birthday party, where McCarthy was having tea with Meghan, while, according to Levin, Prince Harry was stuck outside, not allowed in, playing with a ball, like some abandoned child pressed against the window. Sit with that image for 1 second. A grown man, a father, a military veteran, supposedly locked out of his own house because his wife is having tea with a friend. Levin wasn't there. She has no idea why Harry was outside. Maybe he was on a call. Maybe he was playing with his kids. Maybe he just likes being outside. Some people do that. It's called fresh air. But the actual explanation was never the point. The point was slotting Harry back into the role the British press assigned him years ago, the henpecked husband, quietly diminished, controlled by his wife. When the host pointed out that this was Levin's interpretation, not a fact, Levin's comeback was basically, well, that's your interpretation too, as if presenting a calm, plausible alternative is exactly as speculative as inventing a Dickensian orphan scene from nothing. And now we get to the part of this interview that deserves to be taught in a media literacy class. Levin claims with complete confidence that Meghan is always the one pulling Harry along in public, that she leads, he trails behind, visibly reluctant. Classic deranger's talking point. Nothing new. Except this time the host didn't just push back verbally. She pulled up the video. Not one clip. 3. Clip 1. Sure, Meghan's gripping Harry's wrist appears to be leading. That's the one Levin wanted everyone to see. Clip 2, Harry walking in front, pulling Meghan along behind him. Clip 3, same pattern. Harry out front, Meghan trailing. So what does Levin do when she's shown video evidence that directly contradicts the theory she just built her entire argument on? Does she say, interesting, maybe I was wrong about that one? No. She claims Meghan picked those clips, despite the host being the one who pulled them live on the spot. Then she retreats into how you interpret things is how you interpret things, as if footage of who's walking in front of whom is somehow a matter of personal opinion and not something you can just watch with your own eyes. This, squaddies, is the tell. When the facts stop cooperating, the story doesn't change. The commentator does. This is the moment the segment tips from disagreement into something else entirely. The host, not even unkindly, suggests it sounds like Levin has a vendetta against Meghan. Levin's response? She doesn't defend her claim with more evidence. She calls the host a troll. A troll for showing video footage and asking a follow-up question. That word is doing a lot of heavy lifting, because troll has quietly become the all-purpose insult the Rota reaches for whenever someone dares to fact-check an anti-Meghan narrative with actual documentation. Fact-checking a claim on live television isn't trolling. It's called journalism. But when your entire commentary career is built on a fixed story, being shown contradicting evidence doesn't register as correction, it registers as an attack. Then comes Abigail Spencer, another friend of Meghan's, who got one of the jam jars and posted a photo lying in the grass with her dog. Levin dismisses it instantly as staged and ridiculous, demanding to know why everyone's getting hysterical over a jar of jam, apparently forgetting she'd spent the last several minutes doing exactly that. The host tries one more time to explain the obvious. This is influencer marketing. This is brand seeding. This is advertising. Full stop, and every industry does it. Levin insists she knows what PR is, while in the same breath treating a completely standard marketing tactic like a moral failing unique to Meghan Sussex. And when the host holds her ground, Levin tells her she's rude, asks why she doesn't just say goodbye, and then leaves the call. She hung up, on live television, rather than sit with being wrong on camera. Here's the pattern, squaddies, and if you've followed Sussex coverage for more than 5 minutes, you've seen it 100 times. Meghan does something completely ordinary, a soft product launch, a gift to friends, a rollout thousands of brands run every single week, and it gets run through commentators who decided the story before a single fact was on the table. When the evidence doesn't fit, the story doesn't get corrected. The commentator gets defensive, then hostile, then gone. And think about the language Levin reached for: spiteful, controlling, a wife dragging her husband behind her. That's not new vocabulary. That's the same coded framing the Rota has used about Meghan since 2018, repackaged for whatever week it happens to be. Give her a jam brand, and somehow the story becomes about her marriage, her personality, her supposed need for control. Compare that to how these same outlets cover a white royal woman launching a personal brand or charity initiative: curiosity, warmth, maybe some gentle skepticism about commercialization. Rarely, if ever, this specific personal character-based hostility. That double standard isn't an accident. It's the entire business model for a segment of this commentary industry, and Angela Levin has built a career riding it. And notice what actually happened here. Nobody on that panel spent real time discussing whether the jam itself was good, whether the branding was smart, whether the soft launch strategy made sense. Those would be reasonable things to debate if the segment were actually about a product. Instead, within minutes, it became about Meghan's marriage, her patience, her character. A jam jar became a proxy for relitigating 6 years of character assassination. The jam was never the actual subject. It was the excuse. Let's zoom out for a second, because I think there's something bigger happening here than one bad TV segment. Producers keep booking Levin and commentators like her not because they're accurate, but because conflict performs. A confident biographer restating a controversial claim, getting challenged and storming off, makes for the exact kind of clip that gets shared, argued over, and re-uploaded for days. Whether the underlying claim holds up under scrutiny is almost beside the point from a booking perspective, because the segment already did its job the moment it aired. That's the real reason figures like this keep getting invited back, no matter how many times their specific claims get debunked on camera. The incentive isn't accuracy, it's engagement. And a fixed narrative delivered with total confidence is simply better television than someone honest enough to say, "I'm not sure." So here's what I want to know from you, squaddies. Do Angela Levin's continued media appearances tell you more about her credibility, or about how comfortable British broadcasters still are, platforming a fixed anti-Meghan narrative, regardless of the facts? Did seeing that video evidence change how you think about the Harry being dragged along storyline, or had you already clocked that one as nonsense years ago? And more broadly, at what point does refusing to update your position after being shown direct, contradicting evidence stop being an opinion and start being something else entirely? Drop your take in the comments. I read every single one. And this community's analysis is genuinely some of the sharpest anywhere on this platform. If breakdowns like this are the reason you keep coming back, do me a favor and hit subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on notifications, because these stories move fast and I want you here when the next one drops. Thank you for watching, thank you for thinking critically alongside me, and I will see you in the next one.